Hi, I'm Michelle Begue with a look at what's happening in Latin America now. But first, our news trivia. Which Latin American country is eliminating daylight savings time and turning back their clocks this year for the last time? We'll have the answer later. Brazil has a new president. Former President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva beat out far-right incumbent Jair Bolsonaro in this weekend's elections. The results were tight. Lula won with 50.9% of the vote. The win marks a major comeback for the leftist politician, as he was banned to run in the presidential election in 2018 after he was jailed following an investigation into a bribery scandal. Lula spent 580 days in prison before the conviction was annulled. Now he has the task of uniting a highly divided country. Although Bolsonaro was defeated, right-wing lawmakers won a majority in Congress. For more on this story, let's go to my colleague Joel Richards. He has the election reaction of Brazil's largest neighbor, Argentina.
The victory for Luis Inácio Lula da Silva in the Brazil presidential elections has reignited talk about a new pink tide in Latin America, in reference to the early 2000s when Lula himself, Néstor Kirchner, Hugo Chávez and Evo Morales, amongst others, formed a group of leftist leaders in the region. Today, in a very different global context, there are also a number of left-leaning leaders in Latin America. The relationship with Argentina is one to watch. There's a close relationship between Lula and Argentina President Alberto Fernandez. When Lula was in prison in 2019, Fernandez traveled to Curitiba to lend his support. And Fernandez was one of the first leaders to meet with Lula after the elections just this week. They met and confirmed Lula will travel to Argentina before taking office in January 2023. One final point to watch. Viewers will know there is certain tension between Fernandez and his Vice President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, who in turn has a strong relationship with Lula. Next year there are presidential elections in Argentina, and it's still unclear who will run for the Peronists and what role Brazil and Lula's support could play there.
In Chile, activist and writer Shane Cienfuegos won a 9-year legal battle to receive a gender-neutral identity card. Cienfuegos is the first non-binary person to do so. Instead of having an F for female or M for male on the ID, Cienfuegos has an X. However, this case represents an exception, and Chile still will not recognize anything other than female or male on the card. Anyone who wants a similar ID will have to face their own legal battle as well. And check out the celebrations of the Day of the Dead parade in Mexico City. Thousands participated in the colorful event that honors loved ones who have died. Participants said they felt this year's attendance numbers were close to what they were like before the pandemic. In Mexico, the Day of the Dead is celebrated in public spaces and homes with altars full of favorite foods, liquors, and objects that were esteemed by the person who passed away. Now let's check out the stories we're following for next week. First, Colombia is resuming peace talks with the National Liberation Army guerrilla group to end decades of conflict. The talks will begin in Cuba at the beginning of November. This is a resumption of talks after a 4-year suspension during the previous administration. New left-wing President Gustavo Petro has promised to resume talks not only with the ELN, but other armed groups who are willing to disarm. We'll be following developments. Second, check out these glimmering turquoise pools. They're lithium extraction fields located in South America. As countries look for a way out of their reliance on fossil fuels, Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia are turning their attention to mining lithium. Lithium is used in electric devices, everything from phones, laptops, to electric cars and aircrafts. But what are the effects on the environment? Environmentalists say lithium inevitably harms the soil and causes air contamination. We'll also be following the story. And now the answer to our news trivia. The answer is B. On October 30th, Mexico's clocks turned back for the final time. Congress approved a bill to end changing the clocks twice a year. They argued that changing the time every 6 months to have more daylight hours in the summer negatively affects most of the population. The law, however, proposes that daylight savings time continue in states along the border with the United States to maintain times with the U.S. for commerce purposes. That's it for this week. We'll see you again soon on Latin America Now.